sideways, boys in the days, sleeping sideways, boys in the days, sleeping sideways, boys in the days.
This is my senior, Michael Boucher, and he had a personal best of 22 feet 5 inches and a half on this jump. Last week it was 21.7, but we're going to see a technique flaw where he bring his knee over the midline of his body right there, and then have his body turn sideways as he lands in the sand. Now, I tell my athletes, moving anything to the side, anything going to the side is going to slow you down or lessen your jump. So we're going to make some tweaks here, and this is how we did it. So here I'm teaching him the concept of the swing leg coming through forcefully and driving your knee forward, toe forward, heel forward. So this is him on his first attempt on how to correct that. I put a stick in his hand because he's going to be able to tell when he's turning and when he's staying straight. So this is going to straighten his jump out if we essentially remove the stick, and he can run down the runway with force and speed. When I train my athletes, I try to train them in layers. So I don't try to give them everything at once, but I try to teach them in steps. So now what we're going to try to work on is him keeping the knee up all the way until his jump foot lands on the ground again, and then he brings down the swing leg. So right here is him attempting to keep it up, and he fell short of that. So what we're going to do is work on that for the practice until he gets it, and then we're going to adjust. Here he is in another attempt. I added a box just to give him an extra rep, and then he got a little bit better holding it up without his foot touching the ground as he came down. Now we're going to add a little power to a step. So I have the box right there, but I told him to pretend as if you were hitting the ground with your foot and put that power into that box and pop up off of it. So we're going to see his attempt to use power, drive the swing leg through, and then go and do it again at the pallet. All right, now we're going to take the training wheels off and take the stick out of his hand and see how he handles the technique, which is pretty good. He could have kept his knee up a little bit higher, but we're on the right track. So, quick learner. These next two attempts, you see two small black sticks or markers in the sand on this side of the pit, and I want you to notice how far he gets. All right, so on the second one, he's going to hold his knee a little bit longer, which is going to create more momentum, and then he's going to be able to get further. So watch this. And that's what we want. Now we're moving on to a late landing process. So we want to have our landing process start late, because when you start to bring those legs straight, that's when you start to come down. So what we're going to do is just work on a late knee tuck, and then he's going to land on 2 feet in the sand. So you'll see his attempt right here. Now, a wise coach once said, if it's important, then you must measure it. So here's our measurements. All right, we're going to finish off our practice with some landing drills. And on this landing drill, what you want to do is just keep your feet bent slightly, and then have your heels touch the sand, and then try to bring your butt where your heels landed in the sand. You want to get as close as possible. Now, when you're in the real competition, it's going to be easier to do this, but if you can do it slow, you're going to be able to do it fast. Here he had a little bit too much knee bend, and that's not what we want. So he tried to make the drill work for him, but that's not what we want. Keep the legs extended. This attempt is more what we want. You want to drive your heels down into the ground, reaching forward, and then a quick kick out. So work on your hamstring strength. This is how we ended practice, so we'll be back at it later this week.
Somebody gon' get to tell him that I'm